Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your
hosts,
Mike.
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic. So we've talked about how much fun we had in Nashville at the Rumble in the Boro, but we never continued the story to our adventures on Sunday and Monday.
Well, how much fun we had at Rumble in the Boro, and how little fun we had getting to Nashville.
We talked about that already.
Yes.
But we didn't talk about the rest of our trip, which was the good part, really, when you think about it, because, you know, the one day, the Rumble in the Boro, we were kind of all in one place, didn't really go anywhere, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
Then on Sunday, we went and we explored Nashville, the actual city of Nashville.
For a little advice for anybody visiting Nashville, it's in the Bible Belt. Everything is closed on Sundays.
Yeah, a lot of good restaurants were closed that we wanted to go to. But let's start from the beginning.
All right.
So we weren't sure what we wanted to do, so we were looking for things to do. We're very much like that, though. We don't tend to spend a lot of time ahead of time plotting out everything we're going to do. We have general ideas of we're going to do this day, we're going to do this day, that kind of thing. And so this was no different. And we decided we found this place that was like a replica of the Parthenon.
Yeah, that place was rad.
We were like, let's go here and check this out. So it's the very first place we headed to in Nashville. We pointed our GPS to there and we headed over there. And first off, it was inside of this beautiful park, like such a beautiful park.
It's called Centennial Park or
Yeah.
Bicentennial Park?
Bicentennial
One or
Park.
the other?
Yeah. And if you've ever seen the Parthenon, like pictures of it, this was like a replica of it. And unfortunately, as you said, it was Sunday and you couldn't go inside. It was closed. But
inside is apparently a really cool art museum.
yeah. And like, it was rad. Like there was like the pillars around it and it was up a bunch of steps and they had like the typical, you know, Greek statues around. It was really cool. But the cool part too was that there was this massive park. I mean, massive park. And
with like a lake
and
and
it
some
had
funky
like
trees.
a lake with a trail around it. There was people jogging. There were people walking their dog. It was really, really cool. But that one part, there was the, what do you call it? There was these little platforms and they would have like a little statue in the middle. And then they'd have these benches around the outer edge. And the benches had words engraved into them like wisdom, knowledge, you know, and, you know, crazy stuff like that.
Well, there was also the women's right to vote rally monument thing there.
Yeah, I took a
that you
picture with
took
the
pictures
ladies.
of. They were bigger than you.
I took a picture with them anyway.
Those are some very large ladies.
But it was just awesome, and it was such a beautiful, peaceful place. I could see if I lived in Nashville, I could see going there with a book and just like sitting down and reading a book during the day.
Yeah.
It's just such a beautiful, peaceful, nice place. And just as a side note, as a person who likes to fly drones and wants to get some really cool aerial footage, there were a lot of places there that I would have loved to do that with.
Yeah, man.
A lot of places. But then we left there, and then Mitch had found some like Broadway street, and I think he was a little disappointed in what was there, but I thought it was pretty cool. It was like this small, like kind of funky little business district.
There was little hipstery coffee shops and little cookie stores and like
clothing stores.
Yeah. Reese Witherspoon's clothing store was there.
And they had some rad like colored walls where you could take pictures. It was
very trendy.
It was super cool, though. It was really super cool. Then we left there, and we just kind of drove around to different places,
You're forgetting the government buildings.
Didn't get there yet. We drove around to different places, and then we stopped. Finally, we're like, you know what? Let's go to the state capitol, because Torya and I pretty much every time we visit a city that has a state capitol in it, we try to go there and look at it. And like when we were in Denver, we did that. It was cool as hell. And so we go to this place, and like it's up on like a hill. This building.
It was really cool.
And you go up there, and we walked around the outside of it. It was like a big, huge square-shaped building, like literally like not super tall or anything, just kind of square-shaped.
Pretty typical. Lots of statues.
Yeah. But when you looked out the backside, the view was incredible.
Well, and it was like the city and the trees. And unfortunately for the people in our party who don't absolutely love rain, some pretty fan-freaking-tastic thunderclouds.
There was massive rain that happened. Massive rain. It poured. And in like this little area, okay, so like you get into downtown Nashville, and there's like this little area, and there's the state, Capitol building. And then on the one side is the state Supreme Court. On the other side was like a regular state court, like a county courthouse kind of thing. And then there was like a military museum with like this big courtyard and steps that went up, and there's like this statue of a military soldier. And then like across the street from it was like a performing arts center. There was all these little like teeny tiny museums in that area. It was very close to the Country Music Hall of Fame. We rode right past that. And so then, our family were big hockey fans. We really like hockey. And so Michell wanted to go to the Nashville Predators team store. Not really sure why, since he doesn't really like that team, but he wanted to go there.
He just likes hockey.
Then because of the rain, it was like, Dad, I needed like a hoodie or something. I'm like, okay, whatever.
We parked in the parking structure, and the rain was kind of like drizzling when we pulled in. And by the time we walked out, it was torrential. Like it was pouring buckets of water on us. And by the time we walked from where the parking was to the team store, poor Michell was drenched. He
was literally
like
a block and a half.
Skinny rat.
It was literally a block and a half in a square.
Because he didn't have a hood. We both had a hood.
Yeah.
He was a drowned little rat.
So we got him a Nashville Predators hoodie. It was bright yellow. After that, we never had a problem finding Mitch, because I just look for the bright yellow and there's Mitch.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But then the plan was to have some Nashville hot chicken at some place called 400 Degrees. That was the original plan.
Yeah.
Only on the way to Nashville, we discovered that 400 Degrees was 400 Degrees closed on Sundays. So
we went to this other place with Nashville hot chicken called Hattie B's.
And we first tried to go to the one in downtown, if you remember.
And
that
the line was around
street,
the block.
That really super cool street that had like all the country music bars and stuff. Oh my gosh, it was the coolest street. And like every other building was like another country music bar and a saloon, and then this and then that, and restaurants. And then they were stacked up high.
Line around the block for Hattie B's.
We even saw where the Tennessee Titans play. We saw that. That was really cool. It was off of a river. It was really rad. Then we went to Hattie B's, and thankfully there were many locations of Hattie B's, and the one we went to, it still had a line, and it was even off the beaten path though.
We went to the first one, line around the block. We went to the second one, which was slightly farther away from downtown, and we were like, the line should be shorter. Nope.
Line
longer.
around the block.
Then we went to the third one, and the line was appropriate.
Yeah, there was like maybe 5 people in front of us in line. It wasn't bad at all. And it was social distance, so, it always looks
the other ones weren't
100 times longer than it really is. But we went there, and like you walk in and you order.
And they had various degrees of heat.
Can I mention the guy at the counter?
I don't care.
Can I mention the guy at the counter?
I don't care.
Can I mention the guy at the counter?
Sweet Jesus,
you guys know from listening to this show that when I repeat something over, there's something wrong with the guy.
There's either something wrong with the guy,
the counter,
or Mike just wants to be annoying.
He didn't pay any attention to what we were saying.
But he got it all right.
Amazingly.
So he was actually paying attention.
But he had to ask us multiple times what we said. It was annoying. Like, pay attention, bro. But part of it, I mean, I'm gonna give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt. We had to wear masks inside the restaurant when we were ordering. We didn't have to wear it at the table. And he had a big old plexiglass thing with a little tiny like banker's hole, at the bottom, little bank teller hole. I guarantee you he couldn't hear a damn fucking thing we were saying.
How well could you hear him? Not very freaking
Want to
well.
hear how well I could hear him? That's an exact translation of what I heard. So just
relay that back, and that's how well he could hear us.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. Then the chicken comes, and I got medium.
Uh-huh.
Mitchell got hot. And you got sissy.
No. I got mild. I did not get
sissy.
Southern fried sissy spice. I got
sissy.
The hottest, the lowest level of hot.
Sissy hot. Not sissy hot.
Yes.
Anyway, that shit was hot.
And mac and cheese.
Shit was hot. It was hot. It burned my tongue.
And
other
peach
things
cobbler.
Later.
It was freaking delicious.
Cobbler. I had banana pudding.
I would have just had a giant vat of the peach cobbler. You could just drown me in that. I'd be much happier.
But can we talk about also how good that chicken was? Like how juicy that chicken was, and how crispy the coating was on the outside.
It is probably the best chicken finger I've ever had in my life.
And they were big. Like I remember seeing the order when we were going there, and this is the thing that you go to a new place, you've never like seen the food. You don't know. And so they're like, oh, here's, 3 chicken tenders. And you're like, I think chicken tenders like the size of a McDonald's chicken nugget. That's usually what I mean, like, what do you get when you go to Chick-fil-A and you order chicken tenders? Teeny tiny little pieces of chicken.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you get. This place, chicken tenders were as big as my damn hand.
Yeah.
I ate
like 1.5.
Open. It was huge. And then add on top of that, it was spicy as hell. And I just had the medium.
And there were sides.
It was so yummy, though. And Mitch loved it. And I was really happy that he got to have that because he's a big fan of Nashville hot chicken.
Now he's an even bigger fan.
And he's an even bigger fan now that he's had the real deal. But can we talk about the people in Nashville?
Go first for of all, why are you asking me if we can talk about
the people in Nashville were so freaking nice.
Yes.
Like, you'd walk on the street and they'd say hello to you as they walk by. Good afternoon.
And they'd make eye contact and smile.
And guess what? We could see their faces because we didn't have to wear a mask.
Precisely.
It was crazy. It was crazy. I loved it. It made me remember why I liked going out to places like that in the past and don't like it right now.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of like that time we went to Vegas recently, and we went and we met Amy at Champagne's, and we didn't have to sit there with a mask on the whole time.
Right.
It was just nice to see other people smiling, talking, laughing, and having a good time again after all this crap that's gone on for the last year. It was just so nice.
And now they're fully open in Vegas.
Yeah, they're booming too, from what I hear. But back to Nashville, because that's way across the country. We're still over there. And that's my fault because they took us to Vegas, and I got to take us back to Nashville. But Nashville people are so flippin' friendly. Like back to that Rumble in the Boro group. Even the people there, like I said to you, they were so nice and friendly. And I put a lot of that into the fact that they were from the fitness industry. But then I come to find out that more than several of them are actually from the Nashville area. So they're natives to the area, and they did not disappoint. They were so friendly, so nice, so kind, so talkative. I swear if we had gotten lost and asked for directions, we would have 6 people offering us directions. Now, there was one simple exception. So we mentioned that we went to the Nashville Predators team store. And as we turn off the street, there's a parking lot that has a flat fee kind of parking. A flat fee. Then on the other side of the street was this giant parking lot. And I'm talking like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of parking spaces. And then there's this church. And so we pull in, and it's like 6 minutes till noon. And there's a sign. On Sundays, no parking here before noon because of church service. So we're like, There's 6 minutes left. Who's going to care? And there's like 10,000 open parking spaces. Like,
He cared.
why does anyone care in 6 minutes? So I pull in and I'm getting out to pay the damn, it's one of these things where you go up and you have to scan the QR code and then you pay it, put your license plate number and you pay. So I'm about to do that. And all of a sudden I hear, sir, you can't park here until 12 and it's not 12. Seriously? He was so rude and obnoxious.
On the grand scale of people we've encountered, in California, this person would have be considered very polite.
Yeah, middle of the road.
But in comparison to Nashville people, he was rude.
Yeah, it was wrong. But then that was pretty much Sunday. I mean, we were going to have dinner.
We drove through that thing, the Civil War thing.
Well, that's what I was going to say. We were going to have dinner in Nashville, but
we were tired.
It was just like a long day. It was pouring rain. The place that we made the reservation for, we just decided, you know what? Let's do something else. Let's go back near our hotel, which was like a 30-minute drive, would you say?
Yeah.
To Murfreesboro? Murfreesboro? Yeah. However you pronounce it. I got it right the last time, but whatever it is. So we went back there. We hung out at the room for a tiny bit. We kind of rested. I think we took all of us took a nap. But then we got up and we were going to go have dinner. And we drove through this like Civil War battleground that was so amazing. Like, I was so sad that it was raining because like you drive through this thing and it's very smartly done. So like if you've ever been to a museum where they have like the little audio tours through the place, well, instead of audio, this was like written on signs. And you'd go to a checkpoint, you could get out, you could look around, take pictures, kind of explore the area, then go to the next one, and then go to the next one, and go to the next one. But we couldn't get out of the car because it was pouring rain and the roads were kind of dirt. But the place was amazing. And to think that, like, that was where a Civil War battle actually took place, was right there in that spot.
Michell was all amused because the Trail of Tears was also part of the Trail of Tears.
Yeah. Yeah.
Michell was like, wow.
It was super nice. We really enjoyed it. And we had seen it the night before.
But of
course it was closed. It was like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So we did that. That was so cool. And we kind of explored around different streets in Nashville. I just kind of randomly drove around.
Then we just kind of went back and we had a nap.
Yeah, and then we went out and had dinner.
To that Mission barbecue place for dinner. That was so dang good.
This barbecue place that was dedicated to first responders and military people. Because wasn't it like their son or somebody had been in the military?
Their son was a Marine.
Yeah, he was a Marine. The meat was tender.
That was some of the best barbecue I've ever had.
The barbecue sauce was so good. And there was like
6 of them.
There was like the vinegary kind of barbecue sauce and the really sweet kind of barbecue sauce and the spicy kind of barbecue sauce. It was just like, I don't care what kind of barbecue sauce you like, you'd find what you liked there. 100% you would find it. And they're not the kind of place that like slathers their meat in any kind of sauce. They do dry rub stuff and they smoke it the normal way. And then you decide what you're going to put on it. So flipping good. And all we did was we got like a pound of this meat and a half a pound of that meat and that kind of thing. We get like
turkey sausage and brisket and a couple of sides.
Yeah. And
we put the Lucille's we had the other day to absolute shame.
We were so stuffed after we ate that, though.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. But it was so flipping good. So flipping good. So then we go back to the hotel. We spend the night there. It was a nice hotel, by the way. Really nice hotel. Courtyard by Marriott. Shout out. It was a good hotel. Their breakfast sucked. Don't eat their breakfast. Go somewhere else. We talked about
that in the last time.
Yes. Go somewhere else for their breakfast. Their breakfast sucked. But
try any other breakfast restaurant in Murfreesboro because both the ones we went to were freaking excellent.
Yeah, they were. And what amazed me was the prices. Like, houses, pretty expensive there. Like, it isn't cheap to move there.
That's because all of California is currently moving there.
But the cost of living for food
was way cheaper.
So cheap. Even Walmart was cheaper than Walmart here.
Yeah.
So that was Sunday. Then we were leaving town on Monday. So we packed up, checked out of the hotel, boogied on out of there. I will say this too about Courtyard by Marriott. I woke up and like 6 o'clock in the morning and they had already charged the card. We were good to go. Like, we didn't have to do jack.
Yep.
And so we got out of there, and we didn't really know what we were going to do. So first we went to, where did we go? What was that really cool place that we went to?
I don't know.
Dukes of Hazzard. What was it called?
Oh.
I can't remember what it was called, but we went to a Dukes of Hazzard, like kind of like shop/museum.
It was terrifying.
It was crazy how much
It was
Dukes of Hazzard
so
memorabilia
orange.
they had. There was so much stuff too. Like that one area that had like the glass cases, like there was the glass cases in the middle and then around the outside. Every little Dukes of Hazzard toy ever known to man.
Yeah, they had every single thing Dukes of Hazzard, including all 5 of the vehicles.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And then who was the artist that was next door?
Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson. There was a Willie Nelson museum.
That was just a store.
That was more, yeah, they called it a museum, but it was more of a gift shop than anything else.
But it was also cool.
But it was also really cool. And like, there was a lot of guitar-themed stuff. Of course, Willie Nelson. There was a lot of guitar-themed stuff in there.
Yep.
It was just really cool. But then we had a bit more time to kill before going to the airport.
Like a lot.
And there happened to be an automotive museum very close to the airport. Super duper close to the airport. So we were like, you know what? We feel safe going here because even if there's traffic, getting to the airport's going to be super easy. So we go to this place.
And wait a second. On the way to this place, somebody took a wrong exit by accident because the directions were confusing, and we ended up at the airport. That's how freaking close it was.
The directions weren't confusing. Waze took us to the wrong place.
Okay.
Way to go, Waze. You don't work in Las Vegas, and apparently you don't work in Nashville. Fix this. Now, this place, you notice I said it's an automotive museum. Well, we go in there. Wow, not what I expected at all.
100 plus unique foreign automobiles.
And like, here's the thing. I just said it's nothing like I expected. And most people, when they hear that, think, uh-oh, it was bad. Hell no.
It was so cool.
It was amazing.
It was like 90% cooler than I expected.
I was recording a vlog, and you can go to, look me up on YouTube, MJM Vlogs. You're not going to believe some of this stuff. I was recording, and I wanted to put my camera down, and I couldn't because there was so much to record. There was a whole room of like motorcycle type things.
There was a whole room of cars with wings.
Cars with wings, yeah. And then like little teeny tiny cars. Cars that only fit one person, cars that only fit 2 people, cars that fit 5 people.
That giant friggin' enormous military thing that you could only see part of through the window, and you had to drive around the building to see the rest of it.
Yeah, it was crazy. And there
you
was
could have
so
parked
many,
every other car inside of it. It was so big.
so many different types of vehicles there. Vehicles you'd seen before, vehicles you'd never seen before.
Were there any vehicles in there I've seen before?
There was a BMW in there. You might not have seen it, but I did. It amazed me. Oh, and there was even a bicycle area, not just a motorcycle area. There was a bicycle area.
Yeah.
Like, if you could ride it and motor yourself somewhere else with wheels, they had it there.
Yeah.
Amazing, man. Like, totally amazing. And what was it, like $12 to get in?
It was like $12 for us, and Michell, shocker of shockers at 17, was considered a child still, so he was like $4.
Yeah, it was like less than $30 for all 3 of us to go in there. And one of the few times that we've done a random ass thing that all 3 of us loved it. Like, Michell still talks about it.
Yeah, he found his new vehicle there. He really liked that little car.
It was just like, okay, you've all seen like the crazy clown cars and stuff like that where they like have their feet out the bottom and there's like a little bicycle pedal. They had one of those there.
Yep.
They had, 3-wheel vehicles. They had 5-wheel vehicles. It was crazy what they had. Unfriggin' believable. And it wasn't even that big of a place. It might have been maybe a 10,000 square foot warehouse.
Yeah, it wasn't very big.
It wasn't huge, but they packed it with value. Like, and there was like an area we didn't go because we tend not to when we do this. There was an area where they were showing like a video of the history of the vehicles, and quite honestly, the placards in front of everything were more than informative. You didn't need to go listen to the video and waste your time sitting there.
Yeah, y'all aren't video people unless you go to the
Unless we're at a porn museum, and then we go to the movies.
And we watch Charlie Chaplin porn.
Because we're weird and we watch silent movie porn from the 20s. But whatever.
I'm still amused. You couldn't see anything.
I'm still amused by that, too. And what I liked best about that one, when we were in Vegas, we went to the Erotic History Museum. And as we've talked about this once before on the show, we watched this silent movie porn. And what cracked me up was the subtitle that when the chick walks up on the other man and the chick having sex and she says, "Can I have a try?" And it's like, wow, just too funny.
The best part of that silent movie, to digress, was the fact that because of the quality of old black and white 1920s movies, when they took their clothes off, you couldn't distinguish between the people. There was just white.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like this blur. But you know, back to Nashville again. We like to go back and forth between Vegas and Nashville, and that's good. I like both places. We had such a good time there. So then, all right, go to the airport.
This is the conclusion.
So
come full circle.
We get to the airport. Oh my gosh, people. We had bought at the Rumble, we had bought some cookie dough that you're supposed to eat like a dessert, right? And it comes in a jar. Yeah. Security took it away and threw it in the trash because they said it could turn into liquid. Sorry, guys. It's solid. It's not liquid. But whatever. Took it away and threw it in the trash. I was kind of pissed. So then...
Kind of pissed.
We walk and walk and walk. And guess what's in the damn airport?
400 degrees hot chicken.
So guess what we had again? 2 days in a row. Hot chicken.
Hattie B's was better.
Michell was a little disappointed. I still think if we were to go back, we should go to the actual 400 degrees.
Yeah, because I think it would have been better
Only we would
than the
plan it
airport
for like Saturday night or something and maybe make a reservation from what I read.
Yeah.
And I think he would like it better because I'm betting that a lot of the stuff at the airport was pre-prepared, so it's not as good.
Right.
It's kind of like why some food truck type food isn't very good because they have to pre-prepare it. And it kind of sits there and, it's just never quite as good. It just depends on the type of food that it is. But like hot chicken clearly wasn't meant to be at the airport. So then, now you remember the other story about getting there and how we had a 6.5 hour delay at Los Angeles airport.
I think we already told them about the way home.
We sit there waiting to go home and we're at the gate and then they're like, all right. American flight, blah, 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 is about to board. And then 2 seconds later, I'm sorry, the captain says we shouldn't board yet. There's a mechanical problem. The three of us look at each other and we go, here we go again.
Thankfully, the delay was about 1 hour and 20 minutes this time.
Yeah. Much
6
shorter.
hours.
Much shorter. And there's just something like, it sucks when the delay is going there. But for some reason, it sucks worse when the delay's going home. And I think it's because you're just tired and you're ready to go home. Like, let's face it. If we didn't have to go home on Monday, we would have been fine. We would have found other things to do, for sure. But once you're in that mindset of, all right, vacation's over, we're going back, you just want to get back home.
Right.
You don't want to sit in an airport for an extra hour and a half. Nobody wants that. Right. Nobody wants that.
Right.
So we sat there, got on that plane. You had the weirdest fucking people sitting next to you. Because what happened was, for whatever reason, good old American Airlines booked us 2 seats in one row and then 2 rows up another seat. So Torya, being the sweet, wonderful, amazing person that she is, told Michell he could choose where he wanted to sit.
And he said he didn't want to sit by himself. And I said, okay, now you have a second choice. Pick which one of the two of us you want to sit with. And he picked you. So I got to sit by myself, but I got more leg room.
So she sat by herself between two weirdos who had to take out disinfectant wipes and completely disinfect every square centimeter of the space they were sitting in.
I just wanted to sneeze, like the whole time. I was like, come on, allergies, bring me a sneeze.
You should have been like, That's what you should have done the whole time, the whole flight. It would have driven them nuts. I bet you they would have moved to a different seat somewhere.
I don't know that there were any extra
I don't
seats.
think there were, but they would have tried. Maybe they would have sat on someone's lap just to get away from you.
Probably.
But that was our trip. It was an amazing trip. We had a great time going to Nashville. despite the screwed up delays from American Airlines, who we will never, by the way, fly on ever again. And not because, I want you to know this, it is not because of the delay. It's because of the way they handled us after the fact.
You mean not at all?
Well, like the whole thing about telling us, oh, we would have given you food vouchers. How about you tell us that while we're stuck for 6.5 hours?
How about you hand us a food voucher as we're deplaning?
Yeah, just give it to us. Don't give me this BS, we would have had you asked. What, I'm supposed to go stand in a 45-minute line at your customer service desk so that you can give me a $12 food voucher at a place that costs $15 for a damn sandwich?
Yep.
No, that wasn't good. That was not good at all. They suck. I will never fly them ever again.
Suck it, American Airlines.
Even what happened with Alyssa's friend just now.
I don't know what happened.
When she booked the wrong flight and then they rebooked her. They could have booked her a direct flight, but they didn't bother.
No,
sorry, you cannot tell me there are no direct flights from Miami to Los Angeles. You cannot tell me that.
If there weren't with American Airlines, they should have canceled her.
They should have suggested she go with a different one. Exactly. They just suck. American Airlines, you suck. American Airlines, you blow. American Airlines, you will never see us on your plane again unless it's an emergency and you're the only option.
And I'm talking about
I would still think about delaying until another time so that I could not have to fly on your freaking airlines because it was bad. And you know what? Even the service. I'm on the damn plane in the beginning and I'm sitting on an aisle seat and she comes roaring down the aisle with the cart and bashes into my shoulder, which, by the way, I wasn't leaning over. I was sitting straight up in my seat. Bashes into me and says, sir, you need to look out for the cart. No, you came from behind me. You need to look out for me.
Usually they'll tap you on the shoulder and say, excuse me.
I was so angry with that. Just rude people. Compare that. We went on a shitty airline going to
Frontier
to Las Vegas. Compare that to the service we got there. They were super sweet, super nice, friendly, helpful. Not like and I guarantee you, had we had the same problem, they'd have helped us out somehow. Yeah. And by the way, U.S. government, since you like regulating every damn thing, maybe you should have laws like they have in Europe, where when there's a delay because of mechanical problems with a frickin' plane, you should force them to compensate everybody. You know what would happen? They would make damn sure they had an extra plane at every airport that could back you up if you needed. Because that was the problem. They didn't have any other planes.
They had them. They just didn't want to pull them out.
It's so ridiculous. Made me angry. But Nashville was worth the time. Nashville was worth the effort. I 100% want to go back there again and find other things to see and maybe go to those bars. Oh my gosh, I would love to party at those bars.
You got to get boots first and a hat, I think.
Well, we'll do that at where?
Vegas.
See? And with that, we're going to end this because we're back at Vegas. And, you know, it's just Vegas has become our home. It really has. Wouldn't you say that?
Uh-huh.
I love Vegas. I love Vegas. I love the people in Vegas. I love the strip. I love the not on the strip. I just love Vegas. I even love the skeezy areas of Vegas because it's different from here in every way possible. So with that,
good night, everyone.
Hasta la bye-bye, Bree. Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.